Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their successes, pump up your own inspiration, and meet the people that make change happen. I'm the host of the show, Reese Arlen. Hello. And this is my co-host that likes to give me a hard time before the show, Christian Webb. Say hello and good morning and salutations.
Yes, today is very selfish of me. I brought Jordan on so he'd bring me some infused sleeves.
And he did. He brought them for us, by the way. Check this out. Those of you that are looking on the video. Today, we are accompanied by Jordan Schindler, whose company is Nufabrx, not Nufabrx, but it is Nufabrx.com. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Let's do it.
Thanks
for having me on.
Tell us about your product. You brought, in all of our Business Legends episode, I think you're 64, 65, you're the first person that actually brought their product online. So we're gonna do this throughout the whole show. We're gonna model it. So tell us a little bit about it and model it up. There you go.
Oh, I mean, if you don't bring your product, what are you even doing?
Right. So what is Nufabrx, and tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, so it's all about simplifying health and wellness for us, right? It's this idea that instead of having to take a pill or use a cream or a patch, what if you could just get dressed in the morning? And so our core technology enables controlled delivery of vitamins, supplements, medications through your clothing.
Wow.
And that's effective through numerous wash cycles. So think about a line of topical analgesics, icy hot or biofreeze in a sock, a knee sleeve, a back brace. But it might also be melatonin in a pillowcase to help you fall asleep at night. And ultimately what we're solving for is patient compliance, right? We're all increasingly busy. We forget to take pills or creams as directed. Hard to change consumer behavior, but we all get dressed in the morning.
Sure.
Clothing contacts your skin all day, every day. It is the perfect platform for simplifying health and wellness outcomes, and that's this category that we've pioneered called healthwear.
That is absolutely incredible
He keeps
product.
stacking things. I think he's doing it on purpose. Like the first time he was like, "Yeah, we put icy hot or put some kind of cool stuff."
We just knew about icy hot, and now he's telling us about all this stuff.
And then it was Olay and yoga pants, and now you're hitting me with the melatonin and bed sheets and pillowcases.
The Rogaine hats.
The Rogaine hats. We're good on hair. We're good on hair for now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
5 years.
We'll come back
So-
in 25 years. Do this
25.
again. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
50.
Yeah, there you go. Jordan came on our show just to be our friend, I
Yeah,
think.
that's
Little did Jordan know he was going to have two brand new consumers by the end of this show for sure. But
Reese starts wearing hats.
Time well spent here.
that's perfect. So you're the founder of the company. Now take us back in time. When did you open, and how did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, let's go back in time over 10 years now. Wow, it's crazy how time flies.
Yes, it is.
In college in Seattle, so suffered from bad skin.
In Seattle.
In Seattle, very, very correlated. It's wet, the rain, but in any event, learn about the link between your pillowcase and bad skin. And so as you sleep, dirt and oil builds up, clogging your pores, and went to the dermatologist and was recommended to wash my pillowcase 2 to 3 times a week, which, as you can imagine, as a college-age male, was never going to happen.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to do it 2 or 3 times a year, probably,
Exactly. We're 10 years later, still never going to happen, right? Like,
right.
Still a lofty goal. But that's what got me thinking about how do you get a benefit from a garment or fabric, something that contacts your skin all day, every day? Why can't you use that as a positive vehicle for delivery of medicine?
Right.
And so that's really what started Nufabrx and healthwear, and then spent the next 5 years, actually flew to China, to Guangzhou, and tried to figure out how to actually make a product like this.
Wow.
And ultimately we realized that nothing like this existed on the market.
Yeah.
So very quickly realized we were in the textile industry, but didn't understand textiles, and where are most garments made? They're made in North Carolina.
Wow. And that's how you ended up here.
That's how I ended up in North Carolina. Had no other ties here.
Welcome.
It's great to be here.
We local yokels, we residents of North Carolina welcome you fondly, and we
There's
appreciate
not many of you.
Yeah. we are an endangered species.
Yeah.
We both Christian and I have
Total of 37. We're in the same club.
we meet once a year. You didn't know about that, but
Today's the day.
I don't even know where I was going with the rest of that. So tell me this. So when you come up with this idea, did you even know it was possible? Did you even know that it was possible that you could design a fabric that could deliver things like this?
No idea, right? I mean, it just seemed like an opportunity to solve my own problem, right? I think that's how a lot of these things start. It's like, I didn't want to change my pillowcase multiple times a week.
Right.
Why
Or
can't
wash it.
or wash it, right? Or buy a new one, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you put a medicine into a fabric or garment? It seemed possible in my head.
Yeah.
I'm looking back, it took a lot longer than I probably would have thought. This intersection between traditional pharmaceuticals and apparel is very much where we play, and it's been a long evolution in order to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I use this analogy of a bottle of aspirin, right? Like if that bottle is supposed to have 100 pills and shows up at 97, you got a huge problem, right?
Right.
If my t-shirt has a little bit too much white or black yarn, nobody cares.
Right.
Right? So we've really had to rethink this entire supply chain in order to actually manufacture drugs in garments.
Sure.
And that's really what's taken a long time. And it's this intersection again, right, of like you have to have all the things that matter to drug delivery, right? Consistent dose. It has to be safe, right? It has to withstand multiple wash cycles. And you have to marry that with all the things in textiles. It has to wick away moisture. It has to be comfortable. It has to stretch, right? It has to withstand detergent, or no one's going to use it.
Right.
And that's where we really spend a lot of time.
Yeah. Wow. That I can't even imagine all the. Generally speaking, on the show, we ask like what types of challenges that you've encounred, and
There they all were.
Yeah. Yeah. We just.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah. No
You
kidding.
just talking about that makes it sound like a ropes course
Yeah. Yeah.
with spikes.
Someone asked me recently, they're like, if you were to go back and start this thing again, knowing what you know, would you do it? And I was like, absolutely not.
Really?
This was so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
I mean, this intersection of these two things, right? And you have all the regulatory, the FDA side adds a whole nother element of complexity. I mean, our first garment took 5 years, and we're like, we're done, we did it, we put medicine in clothing.
Yeah.
And then someone puts it on, and it feels like sandpaper. Like,
Oof.
I'm never going to wear this, right? And I'm like,
Jeez.
but there's medicine in it. Like, I don't care,
But
right?
it's good for you.
It took a long time to actually get that. And then it's all the scale side, right? Like, our first pair of socks would have been $10,000. You're like, there's medicine in it, but it's $10,000. Like, I'm going to
Wow.
use Icy Hot.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that in terms of the scalability.
Sure.
And this business could not exist anywhere else besides North Carolina, where this textile ecosystem and biotech has existed.
Yeah.
So when
Wow.
would you say y'all figured it out? Like, when was the year that y'all were like, okay, so we're finally past $10,000 socks and sandpaper shirts?
Yeah.
When did it happen?
I think, funny enough, right, our first customer was actually Walmart. So
Wow.
That's actually
early 2020. I mean, it was probably 7 or 8 years of development and R&D, and went down to Bentonville and met with the buyer at Walmart, and in 2 minutes he goes, I get it. There's a huge correlation between people buying braces and pain creams. Why not put the two things together? And so then, surprisingly, they rolled it out to every single Walmart store, and we're like, well, all right, I guess good problem to have. How do we make enough of these things, right?
Sure.
But that literally was our first major customer from.
I think I remember seeing about that.
Yeah.
It was literally braces with pain cream
Yeah,
in the
crazy.
knee area, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did a knee sleeve, and so now we have all of the other joints, knee, ankle, foot, back, what have you, and then
Wow.
very quickly after that, we were able to expand into Target and CVS and Walgreens.
Who would have thought Walmart would be the first one to jump on board?
You know what's interesting is people give Walmart a lot of shit. I don't know if I can say that.
You
but-
can say whatever you want. This is Business Legends.
Okay, great. For like, I guess being cheap or not necessarily investing in innovation, but like they're by far the best partner to work with.
Really?
Yeah, like
Huh.
we've had a
Interesting.
great relationship. Like they actually came out to visit our facility and.
Wow.
They do get a crappy impression from the front end, but maybe they're
Well, now I only shop at Walmart. Like this is great.
Yeah.
And mostly to buy our products and help the sell through.
Yeah. Right.
come out with a
Cannibal.
box. Come out with a box of them.
It definitely happens
hand them out to
on
people.
occasion.
Try
On occasion.
Yeah.
But no, they've been a fantastic partner for us. They were the first ones to invest in this, right, and continue to create the innovation. And you think about the story from their perspective of like literally made in North Carolina. I think they lose from overseas manufacturing. New innovation, first available at Walmart, reasonable price point, like all things that they're trying to combat.
Right.
And so it's been this really interesting intersection for those guys as well.
So I feel like did you get, when you first started and you were doing your R&D, was it primarily like seed funding, venture capital, or was it like R&D work for large corporations to try to figure out new items and then you progress, like, or was there something else?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the above. Definitely not funding from R&D partners. We've been trying to do that for a while. We're just starting to get into that.
Okay.
Like companies will now come to us and say, hey, can you put Advil or Tylenol or Lamisil in a garment?
Well, that's
and then
nice.
we'll do that development, right? And become this platform that sits at the intersection of, again, Lululemon with the Olay moisturizer. But early days, yeah. It was very much eating ramen in a dorm room and trying to do this as cheaply as possible. So we got a little bit of sort of friends and family seed funding, $25K, $50K here and there. We're fortunate we got a grant from Department of Defense, which actually kick-started this. Yeah, so you think about soldiers hiking 40 or 50 miles a day with a heavy backpack on, right? Like certainly don't want to carry extra weight or extra medicine, and sure as hell not going to stop in the middle of a battlefield and rub a cream on their foot.
Sure.
Right? So a pain reliever in a uniform, a stimulant to keep soldiers awake, antifungal for different battlefield conditions. there's a lot of inherent interest there on the military side. So early funding came out of there to actually develop the technology, keep it here in the U.S. Because the last thing they wanted was to have to buy medicated garments from Asia or overseas.
I wonder if you know you're wearing them or if you just wear them without knowing.
Yeah, it's a good question.
In the military, a lot of times they'll just be like, "Here, this is for you."
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
Totally amped up.
yeah, yeah.
Why do I not need coffee anymore?
Yeah.
That's where marketing comes in because you know it's one thing to say, "Here, wear this," and "Here, wear this. It's awesome," you know, and then that's how it all comes to play. What an incredible thing. So on Business Legends, we like to talk to young and upcoming entrepreneurs and essentially inspire them to take that plunge as the three of us have and make an entrepreneurial journey for themselves. So, you know, when you think about your darkest days and Nufabrx, when you think about, you know, eating ramen in a dorm room and stuff like that, can you speak to anything particularly that compelled you to press on?
Oh, I feel like there were some dark days last week when we were talking about Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, yeah.
We were gonna end with that one.
Yeah.
Funny question. Which bank are you switching to?
Yeah.
Multiple banks. We're diversifying our risk.
Okay.
We
I love
learned
it.
a lot of lessons
Interesting.
there.
Oh, jeez.
I just told him that this morning. He goes, "Oh, you're so stupid for thinking about
This
that."
is-
I'm like, no, I'm not.
This literally happens to us. Like, so the
Okay,
thing
you
you
asked him a question. Now
I'm
we're-
sorry. We'll
All
tell
right,
you about this later. off air.
We'll circle back to that one. I mean, I think for me, it was solving a personal problem, and it's fun, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wake up on Monday mornings, my favorite time of the week. I'm like, let's go check emails, let's see what's going on, right?
Wow.
Like, get to work with a lot of great people. And so I think for me, it's this sense of I'm trying to solve a problem. I believe there's an opportunity here, and it's just fun, right? It doesn't feel like work. And so you take the bad with the good, right? In order to build something great. And I was thinking about this recently and just reflecting on like why I'm an entrepreneur. And to me, at the end of the day, right, it's like it's the freedom, it's the ability to create. I don't like being in a box. I don't like people telling me what to do, right? And I think entrepreneurship has a lot of bad things, but it has a lot of even better things, right? And so for me, that's what keeps me going every day. It's like I'm choosing to do this. I'm making a choice. I could go get a job at a bank, right? But I want to do this. I want the freedom, and to me, I'll take the good with the bad any day of the week.
Yeah, that one of the things that you just said that I think is so inspired is my favorite day of the week is Monday. Like that's such a revelation to have, and I think entrepreneurs often share that. My favorite day of the week is not Monday. Do you know what my favorite day of the week is?
Wednesday.
No.
Friday.
Nope. So you didn't think about it enough. My favorite day of the week is Tuesday because I eat tacos every Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
But he's forgetting that our Lord and Savior Arnold Schwarzenegger does chest day on Monday.
That's true. So Monday is my second favorite day of the
Okay.
week for
All right.
that because the Lord of the Pump has. That's oh my God, we're getting so off topic. It's an incredible journey though, going through everything. One of the things that I'd like to talk to you about is, you know, you have a lot of these big time sellers essentially. You have Walmart, Target, CVS. What was it like to approach them, and especially with Walmart being your first? I can only imagine because that's basically the biggest chain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a learning experience for sure. I mean, you walk into Bentonville, it's Walmart Town, USA, and there's just rows and rows of conference rooms. And it's just,
Right.
I mean, it's
Oh, wow.
hundreds. And you have your 20-minute time slot, and there's just people carrying a bag of Doritos, there's people carrying Corona sodas, and there's like in and out. And like, I remember the first pitch we walked in, and like some other guy came in and was like, gotta leave, and we had to switch into another conference room, like in the middle of a pitch. It's so much of a just like rapid fire approach, and you got to make a connection to the person. But
I never thought about that, but they probably get thousands of pitches a week.
They would have
100%, right?
Yeah.
And they actually do. They have some demo day or something that they call it, right, where they actually select people to come present, and it's hundreds of people, right?
Wow.
Like it is insane how many people actually come pitch, because everyone wants to be in Walmart. And then you think about
Right.
it, right? Like even if you're in half the stores, it's multi-millions of dollars potentially of revenue opportunities. It's crazy how much power these buyers have, right?
One person can change your entire life.
Oh, I know, right? And then it's also like the number of SKUs, the number of pegs, right? The number of units in each store. Like each of those, you think about 2 units, right, in 4,000 stores, and people buying those every single week. Like it adds up very fast.
Yeah.
Double-digit millions already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I know.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly that.
Wow. That when you think about all the brass tacks of it, that's just absolutely incredible. How did you prepare? How did you prepare for your and I guess did you have to have a similar type of pitch to Target and everything else, or
You sit there and just meditate.
Yeah. That's all it takes. Just a
I
little
hope this
ohm.
goes well.
Yeah.
I hope this goes well.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's a lot of what is the retailer specifically looking for, right?
Right.
Like what matters most to a Walmart. Like they very much care about made in USA. They care about new innovation. And I think as our first retailer, we're going to offer this as first available at Walmart.
Right.
Right. And so I think there's a lot of advantages to that. But then they also ask the question, okay, right? It's not like they have empty pegs on the wall.
Right.
So it's like, what are you going to replace?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what they're looking for, right? It's like, hey, are you better than Tommy Copper or Copper
Right.
Fit or
Icy
whatever
Hot
it is,
Patch or whatever it is. Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
So you have to make a determination of sort of here's our value proposition and show why we think this is better.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of research and analysis that has to go into that. And for us, right, it's this correlation for a consumer of I don't have to buy a brace and a tube of Icy Hot, right? I twist my ankle, you're probably buying both of those things.
Right.
It's one product, it's simplified behavior, it's not sticky, it's not messy, it's not gooey, right? Like you're not going to take off your shoe in the middle of the office or the race and rub a cream on your foot.
Right.
Right. But putting on a sock in the morning is no big deal. And so it's a simplified behavior for a consumer. And that's part of the story that we try to tell. But each retailer is different, right? They have different things that they're looking for.
Yeah, I could see myself not wanting to repeat like the cream, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I could see myself repeating a sleeve.
And then ultimately you think about a sock, right? Like you're going to put on socks every morning. And for us, it's what health benefit do you want from your clothing?
Absolutely, man. What an incredible journey that you have. So let's talk a little bit about North Carolina.
Okay.
You've
Barbecue?
mentioned barbecue. Yeah, buddy, best in the world. I will take no arguments on the subject. So you mentioned that this business could only exist in North Carolina. Now, obviously, the textile feature of it, but why do you feel that way? And have you been happy with us wild North Carolinians, the two that you've met in your 10 years here?
Yeah, the podcast has been great so
Right.
far.
The last 30 minutes has been my favorite.
Couldn't have been happier.
That's perfect. So North Carolina, tell us about.
Yeah, I mean, so we came out here. There's a facility called Manufacturing Solutions Center, which is the only incubator of its kind designed to promote and grow the domestic textile industry.
Okay.
And so it's got all this equipment of textile stretch, moisture wicking, abrasion, wasp testing, antimicrobial, all the things you don't necessarily think about when you buy a garment, but would
Right.
cost millions of dollars for us to buy on our own.
Sure.
And so I was actually traveling back and forth between Seattle and North Carolina for a while, and then found this facility and realized this is where we had to set up shop. So we actually set up in their incubator. We still have a space there, and that's actually has allowed us to grow and build this business. And our entire supply chain today is within an hour of here.
Wow.
Right? So like even our yarn, the raw materials, and then the manufacturing all happens here. So it happens out towards Asheboro, where we actually are producing finished garments. They get packaged, they get put on a truck and sent out to a Walmart distribution center. And it's been one of the things that's actually allowed us to win market share. There's been, especially through the pandemic, a lot of supply chain disruptions. Fortunately, we weren't sitting at a port waiting on products to show up, where a lot of these other braces come from overseas.
Right.
And so we were actually able to sub in market share because we've yet to miss a shipment to date because we can drive down the street and say, hey, where's our yarn?
Yeah.
I bet you picked
Or
up
where's
a
it
lot
from?
of work
Yeah.
from empty shelves.
Oh, for sure, a ton. That's been really helpful for us, just based on domestic manufacturing. And a lot of the ecosystem existed here, right? Most U.S.-made garments are made in North Carolina, a little bit in South Carolina, right?
Right.
It's all of the know-how that exists here that doesn't really exist anywhere else. So think about how do I actually knit a sock? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like most people think it's like some old lady or man in a dark factory floor with a crochet needle, like making
Right.
socks,
Right.
And it's super high tech. You plug in a USB device, this machine spins around, and in 2 minutes shoots out a pair of socks.
Wow.
Right? Like it's incredibly high tech, but that know-how really doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah. Wow. That's.
I'll tell you something crazy that makes me feel really dumb. I've lived here, and I think we as a state, we just don't really respect the fact that we're like so large in textile. To this day,
And
to write
furniture.
the-
And furniture.
and furniture. But to this second, for some reason, and I have family members like grandparents and stuff that worked inside these textile mills. To this second, I thought it was tiles and not cloth.
I think about tobacco when I think about North Carolina manufacturing. And I think North
Well, and
Carolina.
cotton is the big one, right? Like
Right.
that's where the legacy textiles comes from. But I mean, today, to your point, right? You see like, oh, it's a converted old textile mill, and now it's like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
That's your
Yeah.
experience with it. You're like, oh, it's an old loft.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all went away, but I guess there's still the huge corporations are still here. The innovative ones.
Yeah, there's big Unify, big yarn guy Haynes, right? We all know VF was out here. Like there's a lot of them that are still out here.
Employing hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You walk in and there's just rows and rows of machines, and in this day and age, right, it's now operated by one guy on a Segway, right? Like driving back and forth. It's all just automated. It's crazy, the robotics and the level of technology that go into it. And I think you're right. I think most people don't have an appreciation for textiles. I didn't before I came out here.
Yeah. You just don't know. It doesn't affect it affects your day to day, but you don't even know it's affecting.
No, you go to the store and you buy a sock, and you're like, okay, like I don't.
Right.
It's a sock.
It's a sock.
Right? And then, but after seeing how it's made, I was like, how's a sock cost $10? This is incredible, right?
Yeah.
With the amount of technology that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's like it literally paints it right there.
I mean, like literally, like the analogy uses like pixels on a screen. With that precision, you can pinpoint where each yarn goes in the garment. And so in our case, right, like you can say, I only want pain relief in the ankle or in the toes, and you can be very precise over where it goes. So our yarn might only be 5 or 10% of that total garment at the end of the day.
So I can literally get like an arch one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, plantar fasciitis, right? That's what we got for you.
Man.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. What an incredible just journey, getting from an idea that you had that you didn't even know was possible to where you're at. It's incredible. So before we sign off here, I do want to ask, what advice would you give, not necessarily your 20-year-old self, but let's say that there's some young and up and coming entrepreneur that has an idea that he doesn't know is possible that's not in the textile industry, so you don't have to worry about that.
Non-competitive.
Non-competitive.
Business ownership's terrible. Don't do anything.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Stay in the banking industry.
Probably stay away from banking. But what advice would you give somebody like that?
I mean, I think there's so much that's helped me along the way. One of the best things that I've done for myself is actually get a business coach and a business mentor, which has helped me along the way. It took me a long time to realize that. I'm like, I don't need help.
Yeah.
Like, I need help. As I think it is very, very lonely. There you go. You got the co-founder. I think a lot of it to me is around solving something that's personal to you, right? Like if there's something that you can relate to, then it doesn't feel like work, right? Like pick something that really matters to you that you care about, and then you wake up and you're like, Monday's great, or Tuesday, Taco Tuesday's great.
Taco Tuesday,
right?
Yep.
And you're excited to go to work and do it, and I think that really makes a difference because it's a lot of work, right? I mean, if you calculate on a per hour basis, you're probably much better off doing something else.
Right.
But you do it because it's fun, because of the freedom, because you love it. So if you pick something that really matters, I think that's the most important part at the end of the day.
Well said. This is the end of our show, and this is where I stall for time because I try to think of a funny question. As always, I don't have one, so I usually look at Christian for some inspiration over here.
I asked mine halfway about the bank thing. He said he's diversifying.
I got it. So obviously, you can put all sorts of different types of medications and things in clothing. Is there anything that you wish that you could put in clothing that maybe you can't, or maybe even like a gag, like something that like overly strong icy hot or something like that? Have you thought about that type of stuff?
What a great question. I've got hundreds from all the years. There are so many.
Yeah.
I would say the craziest one I've got from an actual company.
Yeah.
They make swimsuits.
Okay.
And
God.
And they're like, what can I do with a swimsuit? And they're like, can you put shark repellent in the swimsuit so when I go swimming, I don't get bit by a shark? I was like, I don't know if we can do that, but it's interesting.
That is very
I'm not going to be the one to try that.
Yeah, I don't want to R&D that, but
Yeah, you guys try it.
I thought either shark repellent or Nair is where I thought you were going.
Nair, yeah, I thought Nair was going to be the next.
The Rogaine hat we get. We also get like THC, CBD in garments.
Interesting.
It's a big one that people want to do, sort of the topical delivery side. The Rogaine hat. I mean, pretty much anything topical could be delivered in a garment, more or less.
Wow. That's
testosterone gym shorts.
Testosterone's on the list. Nicotine's on the list, right? Like.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean anything. It's a patch, right? Why not put it in the garment? It's easier.
Yeah. That's there's so much potential.
What are those things called? The really tight briefs that are athletic wear. What are those things called again?
The really tight briefs that are athletic.
I call it shapewear for women.
Yeah, but there's
really tight
bodybuilders
briefs?
wear them. They're like the.
I call them skimpy briefs.
Skimpy briefs.
Are you talking about Speedos?
No, like they.
Posing
shorts.
Posing
shorts.
It goes under your shorts.
Athletic shorts.
Tights.
It's probably that stuff. It's probably he just said.
Yeah.
Tights or shapewear.
We're gonna think about this for the next 15 minutes.
We'll circle back. Yeah.
We'll circle back at lunch.
Jordan, thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to have lunch with you, and you are a business legend, my friend.
My pleasure. I'll be back when you guys get Shaq on.
We're gonna get Shaq.
It's been fun.
And Michael
if you
Jordan.
watch this, we want
Shaq,
you.
Shaquille O'Neal, you're next. So.
Come on. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.